WhatsApp is calling on users to upgrade to the app's latest version after news of a major security breach. The Financial Times is reporting that users could be vulnerable to having malicious spyware installed on phones without their knowledge. And the transfer of data is done simply by having someone call them on WhatsApp, and they don't even have to pick it up. To make sense of it all, I'm joined now by tech reporter Jennifer Baker, who's in Brussels for us. Jennifer, thanks for taking time to speak to us on the programme. Tell us more about this hack. How is it possible that you can actually be, penetrated and have your data stolen without even picking up the phone?
Well, this hack operates as all hacks do by exploiting a vulnerability in the app itself, in the code and how the code is deliberately supposed to function. What this particular bit of malware does is it exploits a buffer that happens in WhatsApp. So you get a call and data is sent via the internet in packets. What the hackers can do is manipulate how that data is flowing into the WhatsApp program. It goes into a buffer overflow, which then starts to rewrite WhatsApp's memory. And it's during this process that the hackers can insert their malicious code into your WhatsApp. So, it can basically rewrite the code of the WhatsApp application, allowing it access not just to your private messages, it can eavesdrop on your calls, and crucially, it can also overwrite your log history. So you wouldn't even necessarily know that you got a call that some anonymous call that installed this in the first place. So it really is really, from a vulnerability point of view, quite severe.
Well, the Financial Times, which originally reported this story, says that the spyware was developed by an Israeli surveillance company. So do we know at this stage, who is being targeted?
Well, we don't know who's being targeted, although the spyware has been found on the phone of human rights lawyers and of journalists. So, you can draw your own conclusions about who would want to target those people. The problem here is that once these exploits are sort of created, they're out there, and it's very, very difficult to control who actually gets access to them. Now, NSO, this Israeli company, is extremely advanced. The Israeli tech industry is actually probably world leading in this area. They are used by governments. They were used by the US government to try and break into the San Bernardino iPhone very famously last year. So they create these tools that they then sell on to what they call legitimate customers. And they say that they very carefully vet who those customers they are. They never sell to bad actors and so on. But there are calls now from various digital rights and human rights groups around the world to actually reduce Israel's export license, because clearly they're not vetting sufficiently enough who is using these tools. These are so-called dual-use technologies. They can be used for good, but they can also very clearly be used for bad.
Indeed, but WhatsApp, like so many other applications that we use on a daily basis, is meant to be safe, it's meant to be encrypted. So, what can users do to protect themselves?
Well, the first thing is they absolutely should update their app. That's a very, very simple method. A lot of people have automatic updates switched on, but if you don't, because you want to save the battery on your phone or you want to save your data packages, you should do that. Do it straight away. It's simple, and they have patched it, so this should not be a vulnerability anymore. What's impressive here is not, in fact, in some ways, that this exploit was used or was exploited, or that malware was found to attack WhatsApp. What's impressive is actually quite how quickly WhatsApp has managed to react to this and patch it. Let's give them some credit there. But of course, the scale of the vulnerability of 1.5 billion users is massive. WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted, so so there is some security. But once that is in your actual, it's rewriting the code. This isn't a man-in-the-middle attack. This isn't trying to snoop an information from a third location, as it were, which you would be protected from. But because this can actually overwrite the code itself, you need to update. You absolutely need to update.
Tech reporter Jennifer Baker, thanks for talking to us on Euronews Now.